As promised, today we are going to be giving you guys an update on our Polkadot price prediction. Now, this is not going to be a video where we're going to be talking about why Polkadot is fundamentally an amazing cryptocurrency project. We did one of those yesterday, and we actually looked at the revelation that Gavin Wood dropped over at Token 2049, where he announced the release of his grey paper, 10 years after the initial Ethereum yellow paper, where he detailed Jam, which is huge. You know, Polkadot fundamentally is really positioning itself as this kind of multi-purpose, general, capable blockchain resource that I think is going to do exceptionally well. And we know all the changes that are occurring with the current parachain model, moving to block space, so on and so forth. So I think Polkadot is going to do fantastically as a cryptocurrency project. It's really positioning itself really well, and I don't want to do a fundamental video on Polkadot for this one. What I do want to do, as I promised yesterday, is actually talk about where we're at in regards to our Polkadot price prediction. Are we still heading towards that kind of $25 mark, and then potentially moving all the way up into the hundreds of dollars? Well, that's what we're going to be talking about in this video. And the best place for me to start is actually by going over and recapping on our price prediction that we gave and the kind of technical roadmap that we saw Polkadot potentially following. And you can see this is the price prediction that we gave, or certainly the technical roadmap that we gave. This is about a 3-month-old video now, and it has largely followed it. And obviously with the events that took place last weekend, Polkadot got hit particularly hard. Let's dive over to that. Now, you can see the kind of sell-off that we saw for Polkadot. You could see it was brutal. You know, this is a single candle all the way down to 36%. But what we have done and what we made sure to do last week was generally come out and conceptualize and normalize the kind of pullback that we saw for the altcoin market. This is Ethereum on its journey from $88 all the way to just shy of 4,000. You can see the kind of pullbacks that you have for Ethereum on its way to the upside were not only frequent but severe, and actually a 35-36% pullback was not uncommon in the slightest. And Polkadot had one of those. But the important thing is, in regards to Polkadot and where it's currently at, is how it's set up. It's still, in my opinion, now broken out into an uptrend. It's still adhering to support. It's hugging that sort of 30 weekly moving average on the right side of it. And I believe ready for the next move higher. Our price prediction, to not keep anybody in suspense, and the technical roadmap that we set out for it, is still very much in play. And we're going to be doing a number of interesting things in this video, like showing you prior altcoins in 2021's bull market that did the exact same thing that Polkadot is doing today before they went on a real epic run. I think Polkadot stands a good chance of doing a similar thing. Certainly we could see how it does a similar thing. So you can see, again, this is Cardano, which we're going to be coming on to in a second, and putting these charts side by side to kind of show you where Polkadot is today. Again, hugging that 30 weekly moving average. It's found its support, likely going to sort of springboard off of it, if you will. But you can see the kind of pullbacks that Cardano experienced in its bull market, which I was personally a part of. I did very well from it. It went from literally cents to dollars. I think $3 was the top for this, and we were getting it at the cents. You know, is Polkadot going to go on a similar-ish move? This is kind of where I think Polkadot is today, and it's got this to come. Potentially not to the same magnitude of 100x, but in regards to structure, I think this is where it's at. You can see the kind of volatility that you saw during Cardano's bull market, and Polkadot very much experiencing that today. But the important thing is the overall structure, when you zoom out, is very much healthy. And we were identifying a bullish divergence here, very present. Just to show you this quickly, into a double bottom, and now we do have a, you can see that bullish divergence there. Divergences are great for assessing a broader trend. That's why we put 30 weekly moving average on. We use something called stage analysis. And when you're in a downtrend, you're typically below 30 weekly moving average. When you're sort of phase 1 or phase 3, so topping or bottoming, you're kind of above and below it, and the 30 weekly moving average is flattening out, and then it's upticking in an uptrend. And I do think this was a key moment here in regards to making this high. Since then, we know what took place. We know the narratives that have been associated with it. I think it was more just a case that risk was kind of de-risking on the back end of a high dollar and uncertainty over inflation. And altcoins, they're really, you know, Bitcoin is essentially a higher beta play in regards to the NASDAQ. It very much follows the 3x Nasdaq Wisdom Tree ETF. And altcoins are just a massive overexamplification of risk, and they're very high beta, and they kind of move in this kind of a manner. But since then, it's important to take a look at where we're at. We didn't close below this low, which is very important, even though we wicked below it. And we're actually closing and have continued to close above this low over here. And we are now hugging that 30 weekly moving average, which means that this initial roadmap that we set out a long time ago is very much still intact. And this is likely going to see us run to around about $26 or thereabouts. And in doing that, we would like to see Polkadot interact with what we believe is going to be a key level of significance around about $24, have a very shallow pullback, and then that might see Polkadot set all the way up to go to the $160 range. So when you look at the Polkadot chart on a kind of zoomed out objective perspective, it really doesn't look that bad. This is a basing chart. It's a bottoming chart. It's a stage one that we now believe is in stage two. It's on the right side of the moving average. And ultimately, I think is going to do quite well off of it. When we assess the overall cryptocurrency market, which I'll do with you just now, it looks very similar. You know, you can see this initial kind of breaking, if you will, and then you come back and retest. Cardano did the same thing. It broke out and then came back in, but supported off the 30 weekly moving average. This is essentially where Polkadot is today. We think when we look at the overall cryptocurrency market, certainly the total two, which is really the altcoin market, you know, we have a target of this getting to $3.7 trillion. It's currently at $1 trillion. That'll be over a 3x, about 3.7x from where it currently is today. Polkadot isn't not going to appreciate from that, certainly in regards to the kind of direction it's taking fundamentally. And of course, we do have technical patterns or a technical roadmap that's still very much in play, and we think stands a good chance of coming to fruition. What I want to do now is actually show you a chart of Polkadot next to Cardano. So Polkadot is on the left, Cardano is on the right, and this is the kind of structure that Cardano put in before it then went and did what it did. So it went from the cents all the way to the dollars. Of course, Polkadot today is currently sat at $7.42. But what I'm highlighting here is the kind of similarity in regards to the market structure and kind of where Polkadot is today. So I believe Polkadot is here. It's had a severe pullback. There's always news associated with it, but the important thing is the market structure remains intact. And I believe that Polkadot is going to find its feet here and very much embark on a similar journey. Again, not to the same percentage that we've previously seen Cardano go on. So we've recapped on the price prediction that we gave, and we went into why we were giving that price prediction and what we thought the technical roadmap was going to be to get to sort of $25, $26, and then potentially set up to see us go even higher. Remember, we've got to see that setting up to go higher. That's not our price prediction isn't $160. We're saying it could get there if it does this, and we need to watch out for this. What we are saying is we are in a technical pattern that we believe is going to see you run towards $25, $26. We've not been invalidated on that yet. It's very much followed that roadmap that we set out in regards to looking for this inverse head and shoulders. You haven't closed. Yes, you did wick slightly below this, but you haven't closed, which is the important thing, below this low. You're holding it. You're supporting off of it. We now need to see that strength come in for Polkadot. And we think that actually the overall market and where that's at kind of supports that strength coming in. If you compare the pullback that we saw to the pullbacks that we saw in the bull market, majority taking place in 2021 for the likes of Ethereum, which had a significantly larger market cap than Polkadot has today. It's a very normal pullback. It puts things really into perspective and kind of normalizes it, which you need to do in crypto, and because it's a very volatile space. And if you look at the likes of Cardano in its last cycle and where Polkadot is today, they're very similar. And I think they're going to, you know, go on a similar journey, if you will, or Polkadot's going to go on a similar journey to what Cardano did back in 2021. And if you've been around, you'll know that Polkadot obviously wasn't about in 2017. It was being worked on. And you had a lot of the organizations that are behind Polkadot kind of forming it, if you will. And obviously Gavin Wood's got a very long history, but it never really saw a bull market, you know, obviously it did see the last bull market, it did very well, but this is its first real kind of bull market, full cycle, if you will. It was kind of launched 2019, I think was when it was first traded. this is going to be its first kind of bull. So very interested to see what it's doing. Very bullish on the kind of fundamental changes that Polkadot is undergoing in regards to jam, in regards to moving to block time and block space and things like this, and away from the parachain sort of lease model. And again, technically, this is a chart that's bottomed, and I do believe is now in an uptrend and going to see continuation of that uptrend. So that is it from me, ladies and gentlemen. We did say that we would get an update out, updating you guys on our price prediction. It's still intact. We still believe we're going to follow it until proven otherwise. And we've kind of perhaps given some perspective in regards to some of the volatility that we've seen and what we think is to come. So that's it from me. Thank you very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you all in the next YouTube video.